From Rhythm Nation to Raider Nation to vaccination. It's just a nonsensical way to get the word to the word that is misgeneration. Let me try that again. Misgeneration. Miscegenation. Miscegenation. Say it with me. Miscegenation, something that was almost or is also nonsensical. Miscegenation, laws against such things that were passed by almost every state in this nation. Anti-miscegenation laws, state statutes that forbid interracial relationships so as to not mix races. This was a thing, and some of you can remember when it was a thing across most of the country, including right here in Idaho. So this day in history, March 1st, Idaho decided to address their miscegenation law, pushing out interracial marriage law further toward the outer limits. It was in the middle of the Civil War. President Lincoln was about to be reelected, and Idaho had just become a territory. One of its first territorial laws, that first legislative assembly in 1864, banned marriage between any white person and any other person of African descent, Indian, or Chinese. The crime of miscegenation, a misdemeanor. Then 57 years later, on March 1st, 1921, the Idaho legislature amended its law, not to right a wrong, but to add to those nuptial no-nos. Changing the language to Negroes or mulattoes, House Bill 2 would expand the marriage ban to include Mongolians. Basically, any interracial marriage would be illegal and void. Oh, and marriage between first cousins, they also threw that in there. Mongolians, by the way, were defined at the time as the largest race on record at 655 million and considered those from China, Tibet, Japan, Korea, Siam, and Indochina. The population of Idaho during that session, a little more than 430,000, of which fewer than 1% were considered not white. So the odds were slim it was going to happen, but they weren't willing to take that chance. At least until the law was repealed in 1959. Despite only 4% of Americans approving of interracial marriages. So why did they add Mongolian to the list of illegal interracial marriage in Idaho? Well, apparently there were a lot of Japanese immigrants to the U.S. at that time. So much so, Congress passed the Immigration Act of 1924, which completely excluded immigrants from Asia. As mentioned, Idaho's 35th legislature in 1959 repealed that law, which was 12 years before interracial marriage became fully legal in the United States. The 1967 Supreme Court decision, Loving versus Virginia, made state anti-miscegenation laws unconstitutional.
Okay, so what's good? All right. So I don't know what exactly is going on here. I'm getting all these late notifications. These are not super chats. Hold on, let me just turn this off right quick. Because these are super chats from weeks ago. Shout out to all of you who did super chat. Let me see. How do I do it? There we go. All right. So with that being said, not too many people here tonight. I didn't expect so for Friday night, but just wanted you all to hear something on the latest details on how this day, and well, particularly on March 1st, I meant to get to this story, but I've been so busy with stuff in real life that I haven't gotten around to it. So nonetheless, I want to thank you all for being here. Whoa, don't tell me all these people Snapchatted 2 minutes. Yeah, this isn't all from 2 minutes ago. All right, yeah, so Streamlabs is giving me a pain. I don't know what's going on. It keeps bringing up old stuff. But nonetheless, it's just something to have fun on this Friday night. Something right quick. I know a lot of people are getting that back out there, so we probably will not do news at night on Friday nights, but this is more or less a light story. And just to make fun of this part specifically.
From Rhythm Nation to Raider Nation to vaccination. It's just a nonsensical way to get the word to the word that is misgeneration. Let me try that again. Miscegenation. From Rhythm Nation to Raider Nation to vaccination. It's just a nonsensical way to get the word to the word that is misgeneration. Let me try that again. Miscegenation. 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 Say it with me. Miscegenation. Something.
All right, well, he eventually got around to pronouncing the word correct, miscegenation. The story basically was the recognition of Idaho's March 1st date, where I think it was March 1st, and it was 12 years before the United States finally recognized interracial couples. And let me see if it, blah, 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 blah. It was, yeah, so the interracial marriage law was repealed in 1959, only despite 4% of Americans approving of such unions. This 1967 decision would make the anti-miscegenation laws unconstitutional. So just a little recap on our friends up north who are doing their best in order to recognize interracial marriage, even if it's just for a minute. I know it wasn't going to be the biggest news piece of the night in, what is it, KTVB. And I'm assuming that is Boise's, one of their affiliate stations, but nonetheless, give them credit where it's due. And yeah, that's all I basically got to say about that. Let me see who's in the chat right now. 8 people watching. Shout out to you. Shout out to the one person who's brave enough to comment. But yeah, nonetheless, just a little Friday night. Just relax. Just get this off the chest. And just to give props where props is due. I mean, if you're going to do a news story like this, Botches and all, at the very least, we can give you some sort of recognition. But nonetheless, so shout out to all of you people who are watching tonight. Shout out to all of you who are finally, especially in the states that are getting rid of the lockdowns. And, well, I mean, as far as the mask is concerned, I mean, if we can keep our mask, then I don't know what's the problem. I'm not going to go in there. That's another subject for a whole nother day. But yeah, let me see. So he basically just stated here. He stated what was stated in the video was basically what's stated in this article. So not too much here. Shout out to all of you who are watching. Shout out to all of you who watched the story. And oh, well, hold on. We need to. What did I get? Okay, so we have some people in here. Shout out to. Let me see if it'll come up because I know Super Chat is very delayed right now. Anyway, here we go. Black American Expat Radio donated 10,000 COP. What is a COP through Super Chat? I want to know what that is. Hey, what's good, Red? You're here from C Boogie's channel. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. I've been in his channel. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Dom Game Vision, of course. But nonetheless, hey, the reason why I wanted to point this out specifically was because of a certain fact that I have found within my studies. And let me see if I can bring up the right one right here. Here we go. Yes, so this is something I'm going to do in a future video. So just a preview of the reason why I brought up that story was to show you the interracial rates throughout the country. And yes, this includes interracial marriage rates of all couples, including all the quote-unquote 4 ethnic groups that are recognized in this nation. And to be honest, were places where there are a lot of brothers, there isn't a lot of action, with the exception of some places out here in the western parts of the United States, particularly in the Sunbelt western parts. So as you can see here, the eastern parts, not too impressive, especially within the southeast. Wow, Jackson, Mississippi, only 3%. Only 3% IR rates. Heck, even in places like, what was it, Detroit, 10%, Chicago, 19%. Oh, yeah, in Atlanta, 14%. And even the Northeast isn't that impressive. Florida gets a bit better, but then you got to remember, most of these are Latinos, Latinas, and non-Latinos and Latinas. Usually Latinos and whites. In the Midwest is, okay, 15%. For a population size of whites in Minneapolis, that's still good. But, yeah, exactly. This is when you start getting to the real numbers, such as Seattle, such as Sacramento, 26%. Sheesh. Las Vegas is 31. I mean, even the Arizona metropolitan areas, 25% each for Phoenix and Tucson. Anchorage, 28. Even in places like LA and the Bay Area, you got a quarter. But you got to remember it's super diverse, and a lot of it doesn't involve the brothers. I'm just saying that right now. San Diego is a bit better. I mean, the best obviously Honolulu, and that's for the obvious reasons. Not a lot of us are down there, but if you end up down there, then let's just say this: you're gonna get caught in the positive crossfire. What about Boise, Idaho? 23%. And as I stated, for a place that doesn't have a lot of non-white people in general, 23% of newlyweds being in interracial marriages, that's actually not bad. So I keep telling you all about these western cities that people sleep on, particularly the cities that don't have a lot of babies kids. I'm just saying that like that. Take it for what it's worth. And yeah, so with that being said, I know there isn't a lot of people showing up tonight. I won't waste a lot more of your time. I just want to thank you all for showing up. I want to thank you all for joining me. The playback will be rather quick, I suspect. And everyone else out there,